Hi, I'm Linda Shiue. Welcome back to the Doctor's Spicebox. It's been a little while since I did my last video, and now we're definitely in the middle of summer, and it's hot in many parts of the country, though not necessarily always here in the San Francisco Bay Area. A real summertime favorite is watermelon. So I have some watermelon here that I've cubed. Most of you probably eat this as a nice, refreshing dessert or snack. It's really hydrating and delicious. I'm going to show you two recipes today, though, that will use watermelon in savory ways. Very simple, requiring no heat, no stove, no oven, and perfect for those hot, lazy days of summer. In addition, I will talk about some of the health benefits of watermelon that you may not know about, as well as the other ingredients here. So for the first recipe, I'm going to show you a recipe that I really love for a watermelon gazpacho. Most of you may know gazpacho as a tomato-based cold soup. It's from Spain, of course, and that is the classic. But gazpacho can be made out of actually any vegetables and fruits. Aside from the usual tomato, today we're going to try watermelon, but I've seen varieties using things like strawberries, combination of fruit and tomatoes, which of course are also a fruit. And always with the same base of other ingredients that give you that familiar flavor that takes it from being something sweet to something balanced with a slight bit of acid and something definitely a little bit savory. So those other ingredients that you'll want to include in your gazpacho are cucumber, which I have some diced here, as well as bell pepper. Depending on the color that you want to come out with, you may choose different colors. I have some red bell pepper, and I also have some yellow bell pepper. I'm going to make mine a little spicy with some jalapeno as well. You'll also want some garlic. I have one very large clove here, and of course you can adjust that to taste. I wouldn't make it overly garlicky, but depending on how much you like, you can add more. As well as some red bell pepper, and then to make it a little bit more savory, some celery. And to balance the sweetness with some acidity, this is just some red wine vinegar. So those are the other ingredients which I think will really make it taste more familiar to you. What are the other differences between watermelon gazpacho and tomato-based gazpacho? Well, with the regular tomato-based gazpacho, it's pretty thin because tomatoes are very watery, and you have to add some bread to thicken it up. This actually doesn't require any bread with the other ingredients. The fiber from the celery and also the fiber in the watermelon thicken it up enough that it's just the right texture, as you'll see here. So this comes together really in minutes. So I'm just going to show you with an ordinary blender. You don't need a Vitamix for this. So let me just show you how quickly it comes together, and then I'll talk a little bit about the health benefits. So what I have here in these two containers is basically the amount that comes in a regular small or personal size watermelon, those round small ones you see everywhere. It's seedless, although I do encourage you to remove any remaining seeds, and I've cubed it. I won't be using all of the watermelon in this. You're going to use about 5 cups. That was about 4 cups. I'm going to add a little bit more to make about 5. And then I'm going to show you the other ingredients. So this is 3 stalks of celery. And you'll see as I'm adding these ingredients, I'm saving a little bit of each for garnish, just to make it look fancy. You don't have to do that. We have a seeded cucumber, peeled and seeded. And again, saving a little bit for garnish. We have half of a small red onion diced. Our garlic clove, our jalapeno. And it looks like at this point I don't have quite enough room in my small blender, so I'm going to start blending it, let the volume go down, and then add the rest of my ingredients, which are the bell peppers and some seasonings. So we're just going to do that and start blending. So you can see I have more room now to add my other ingredients here. So we have a seeded and diced yellow bell pepper, saving some for garnish. A seeded and diced red bell pepper, also saving some for garnish. I will add the rest of my jalapeno now that I have room. And I'm going to add the juice of a lime. Watermelon and lime are a natural pairing. So I'm just using my citrus squeezer here. And then this is a couple of tablespoons of red wine vinegar. And start with about a half teaspoon of salt, which you can of course adjust later. All right, so let's blend the rest of it together. So you can blend your gazpacho as coarse or as smooth as you like. I like it a little bit chunky still. It's not a smoothie or a juice. It's, you know, it's a soup. And so I'm gonna leave it like this. Ideally, you're gonna chill this for an hour or more when the flavors will really get a chance to meld together. And when that happens, the color will darken slightly. But I just wanna show you how it'll be. So I'm gonna garnish it a little bit with some colorful bell peppers. The froth that you see on top will settle down after it's been chilled. Bell peppers, a little bit of diced cucumber, and a little bit of the celery leaves that came with my stalks of celery. Here is our watermelon gazpacho. It came together in minutes. Very refreshing. So we always talk about hydration, right? Let's talk about the nutrition a little bit here. For hydration, everyone thinks I just need to drink, 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. And that is true for many people, but the water doesn't have to come only in the form of water. Naturally, high water fruits like watermelon are another great way to hydrate, and especially for kids or other people who don't like to drink water that much, it can be another way of keeping them hydrated in the hot summer weather. Watermelon also isn't just a sweet and low-calorie treat. It's actually a great source of the antioxidant lycopene, which is helpful in preventing both cancer and heart disease. We are most familiar with lycopene in tomatoes. Think of tomatoes as the source of lycopene. But watermelon actually has 40% more lycopene than raw tomatoes. So getting a lot of nutrition with that, in addition to natural sweetness. As for the other ingredients here, the bell peppers are a great source of immune boosting vitamin C. Cucumbers also have vitamin C, and also cucumbers contain silica, which is a mineral that is really important for hair, skin, and nails. So you could think of this as a beauty tonic also. So this is a low-calorie soup that can be enjoyed as an appetizer or even as a light meal. It has very small amounts of added sodium, although for people who are very careful with their sodium, note that celery is fairly high per volume in sodium. But it's a great source of many heart-healthy and health-promoting ingredients, containing vitamin C, silica, lycopene, also potassium, and a great source of hydration and refreshing on a hot summer day. Also very delicious. So enjoy. The second savory watermelon dish I'm going to show you is so simple, it really doesn't even need a recipe. That said, I think there are some benefits to demonstrating what you can do with ingredients that may not be as familiar to you as a combination. So this next watermelon recipe is enjoyed throughout the Mediterranean and is a very simple salad of watermelon with feta and mint. Some people will also add other ingredients like olives to it, and you could also substitute basil or other fresh summer herbs for the mint, but this is kind of a classic combination, and it's really as simple as combining these few ingredients together. So this is some cubed seedless watermelon, about 3 cups, from about half of a small or personal size seedless watermelon. put it into a bowl. And here we have some feta cheese, and you're just gonna crumble some. This is gonna be kind of a to-taste thing. I'm gonna angle it on my cutting board here so you can get a better view. So we're adding this to our cubed watermelon, and just use your fingers to put in whatever amount you want. I'm gonna start really with about a tablespoon for these 3 cups of watermelon that have been cubed. Add more or less to taste. And we're almost done here. The next step is to add our fresh herbs. So we're using some mint. I have this beautiful mint here that after this is going to get planted into my herb box, which I will then have to remember to water. And then I'm just picking off some mint leaves. I'm going to move the watermelon for a second so you can see what I'm doing with this. I'm going to show you a really good way to prepare fresh herbs in a way that looks pretty and is very simple. It's a technique called chiffonade. So just like the rest of this recipe, it's not really a recipe, it's to taste. I like mint quite a bit, and I think it really enhances and melts really nicely with the flavors of the salad. So I'm using, looks like what I have here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mint leaves, and I'm going to stack them together. And after that, I'm going to roll them tightly into what is classically called a cigar shape. But basically the idea is to roll them tightly so that you have control over them. Okay, so it's going to look like this. And then after that, you're going to use your knife and cut thin ribbons, okay, while holding it together. So we're just going to do this. And then within seconds, you see we have this lovely, fluffy, pretty chiffonade, or ribbons. This is going to go back into our bowl, which I'm going to again show you here. Sprinkle it over. I'm going to add a little bit of cracked black pepper, optional, but I like it on any salad. We'll bring it together with another key ingredient from the Mediterranean diet, which is olive oil. Just drizzle some. This is again to taste, doesn't have to be a lot. And then I'm just going to stir it all together. So you may be wondering here, where is the salt? So you can certainly add a judicious amount of salt to taste, but what I want to illustrate here is that you actually don't have to. When you're using salty ingredients, in this case the feta, and if you're going to add anything else like olives, which are naturally salty, try tasting it without adding any salt first. You may find that it's actually salty enough, and that's an important rule for people who are watching their sodium to protect their heart health or their blood pressure or their kidney health, is to moderate sodium. And that's true for most of us, although most of the sodium that is excessive in our diets comes from processed foods. So make that your first step. But even in your cooking, don't reflexively add the salt. Always taste first. And again, think of salty ingredients as your salt. We have this beautiful and delicious watermelon and feta salad with a chiffonade of fresh mint and a little drizzle of olive oil and a few grinds of freshly ground black pepper. This makes a beautiful sweet and savory salad to enjoy as an appetizer or salad course in the summer. Let's talk a little bit about the nutrition. So I mentioned in my previous segment with watermelon gazpacho that watermelon is a great source of the antioxidant lycopene, which provides protection against heart disease as well as several cancers, and actually has 40% more lycopene than raw tomatoes. Mint is great for digestion and contains minerals as well as fiber. And you can count it, even though it's an herb, which is often what we think of as just for garnish or flavor, but it does count into your servings of fruits and vegetables, so use with abandon. Lots of health benefits there. Feta cheese, of course, is a source of some sodium and protein, calcium. And then the olive oil, as I mentioned, is one of the key ingredients in the Mediterranean diet, which is very healthy for heart health. So there you go, enjoy. This is a way to enjoy your watermelon as something more than just those delicious wedges that you eat at your summer barbecues and picnics. Take care, and I'll see you next time.